With the success of the tmnt The Last Ronin, it's only natural for them to take it in the next direction and turn it into either a TV show or a movie. So today I thought it would be a good idea to actually do a fan casting video and see who I'd like to play as these top characters. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below who you'd like to see play these top characters, and without further ado, let's get into this one. Let's go!
Once, long ago, I, Dr. Baxter Stockman, was a whole man. A brilliant mind and an able body.
Okay, first up is Baxter Stockman, and the person who I went with is Scott Williams. Now, when coming up with these casts for these videos, I normally have a rule that basically stops me from basically casting actors who already play these roles to come back and do these actors or these characters again. But I feel as though that with this role, I sort of made an exception just because of how great Scott Williams was playing Baxter Stockman in the 2003 show, and you could arguably say that 2003 Baxter was the best Baxter Stockman we've ever gotten. Now, Scott Williams, I would say he's almost a perfect choice for Baxter Stockman, whether you want to do him as animated or if you're going to do live action. If you're doing live action, he almost has the perfect look for him. He's old enough to play this Baxter Stockman, not to mention that he's an actor through and through, not only voicing stuff, but he does performances on stage and off stage and stuff like that. So you can clearly tell that he's definitely an actor through and through, and I do think that he's just a perfect choice. And I do think that whatever direction you do take him in with The Last Ronin, if you do want to add more stuff to Baxter Stockman's character, or you're just going to want to keep it the same, I do feel as though that he would be able to just bring everything that you want and need for this version of Baxter.
Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth is he still alive?
Okay, next up is Raphael, and the person who I want him to play is Jensen Ackles. Now, the reason why I went with Jensen Ackles is just due to his amazing role as the Red Hood in Batman Under the Red Hood, and I feel as though that more or less just basically gives my whole answer away. And I feel as though that he did an amazing, outstanding job as Red Hood in that movie. But I feel as though that you could bring that over to the Turtles in a way. I don't really know how much you could really bring just because Raphael wasn't really in it too much. I mean, I do feel as though he could definitely bring a lot of amazing scenes, but I do think that due to lack of scenes with Raph in there, it could potentially hinder his performance. But I do think either way, he still will make an amazing Raph. And also do think that due to his other roles in various movies, TV shows, where he is able to do a lot more different voices, I do think they could definitely bring a new side to Raph, where you're able to do the normal side and then the raging side. And I do feel as though that with Raph in this story, you definitely need that, with more emotional scenes, as well as that big, raging, amazing scene.
String theory, multidimensional reality, and matter displacement. All real?
Okay, next up is Donatello, and the person I went with is Andrew Garfield. And do I really need to say my reasons why I think Andrew Garfield should be Donatello? He is almost perfect. Just look at his role in The Amazing Spider-Man and you just get the whole reason why. He's nerdy, but at the same time you can also bring that really great emotional side to him. And with his movies, like specifically the Spider-Man movies, and especially No Way Home, he could definitely bring that emotional side of him that I feel as though that with this story, you definitely need. And with certain elements and aspects of Donatello's character in the Last Ronin story, he could definitely bring it all.
You're gonna do the notebook thing? Why? It's passive aggressive. I crossed the name off the list of my amends yesterday. Don't worry. I used all your 3 rules.
Okay, next up is Leonardo, and the person I went with is Sebastian Stan. Now, the reason why I went with him is just because I feel as though that he has enough potential in his voice as well as his acting to really give off that really great leader type vibe, and I do feel as though that with his voice, he could definitely bring a really good and decent Leonardo. But with that being said, I do feel as though that as his role as the Winter Soldier, he can definitely bring that really dark aspect and side of his character, but I feel as though that Leonardo would definitely need for this story, especially when his time has come for him to die, and I feel as though that he could definitely bring all those sort of emotions that we would need for that scene to work.
No, I started to
transform, and then...
Okay, next up is Mikey, and the person I went with is Ryan Potter. Now, I feel as though you might know him best from Titans, and that's basically the only place that I've seen him from, and I must admit, he does a really good job. And I do think that if you are able to do a really good Beast Boy, like, role, impression, or something like that, then you can definitely do a Mikey. And I do think that Beast Boy in Titans could... He does have elements of a Mikey character, but I think that due to the lack of not actually doing anything important or not doing anything at all in the series is a really good indicator that, yeah, he'll be good for Mikey in the flashback scenes where, again, he doesn't really do too much. So I feel like he would do a really good, outstanding job for that.
How can you even think this is a good idea? You want to do to them what you did to me? Turn them into a sidearm? A weapon? Fuck them up in the head, or even worse, get them killed like Jason?
Okay, next up is Casey, and the person I went with is Brendan Schwartz, who I feel as though the only place I've seen him from is Titans, where he played Nightwing, and yeah, he's just an amazing job at that, and I feel as though that he can definitely bring that kind of aspect to Casey in this series, but I do also think that he has the perfect look for him, especially for what they're going for, and I do think that he can definitely pull everything that they need for him, and I think that just due to what he's been able to portray in Titans with his emotional side and darker side, you could definitely bring that over to Last Ronin without any trouble whatsoever.
Are you ever planning on listening to me? None of this would have happened if you just obeyed me from the beginning. It's all about trust.
Okay, next up is Splinter, and the person I went with is Paul Eiding, and oh boy, this one, it speaks for itself really. He played Grandpa Max in Ben 10. Do I even need to say anything else other than that he played Grandpa Max in Ben 10 to basically give the whole reason why? I can't think of any other reason why than he was Grandpa Max in Ben 10. He basically made that show, so he's definitely going to make this version of Splinter just one of the best Splinters ever.
In certain respects, I've succeeded far beyond anything I could have imagined. For the first time in my entire life, I feel good.
Okay, next up, we have Oroku Hiroto, and the person I went with is Jared Leto. Now, I know people are probably going to hate on this and think it's a bad idea, but I do think that with his looks, I feel as though he could definitely portray those kind of looks. And I do think that with like Oroku Hiroto being very crazy, very weird, Jared Leto has definitely pulled that off and on set and within movies. Now I do definitely think that Jared Leto could definitely bring that side of the character to him, and I feel as though they won't really take too much to really change like performances or anything, but I feel as though that would be a really good option. And yeah, I know that probably be a bit weird, and probably, I don't know, I feel as though people are going to really meme on it and complain about it, saying that he's going to ruin it, but I feel as though that he could have potential to make it good, or at least somewhat watchable, I'd say. Okay, next up is Karai, and the person who I went to play with is the person who played Katana in the Suicide Squad movie. I'm not going to try to attempt to say the name just because I know that I'm going to mess it up and I don't want to, so yeah. Now the reason why I went with this actress is just because of her role in the Suicide Squad movie, and I feel as though that if you can play Katana in a movie or a version, then you can definitely like bring that type of like the character over and bring that and play Karai, as I don't think there's really too much difference between the two. I mean, of course, I know there's loads of differences, but the thing is that like the core aspects of the character are more or less the same, and I feel as though that if you can play Katana really well, then like Karai will just be very easy.
What I don't get is you. You're no hero, want to be like the rest of them. You're obviously well off, enough to not slum around Star City.
Okay, next up is Casey Marie Jones, and the person I went with is Catherine McNamara. I feel like I said it right, but at the same time I feel as though I said it wrong. Great. Now the reason why I went with this option is just because of her role in Arrow, where she played Olive Queen's daughter and did a really great job, and I feel as though that the majority of her core aspects of that character were more or less seen in Casey Marie Jones, And I feel as though it's quite hard to describe it in a way, but I feel as though that with those elements from her character on Arrow, you could definitely bring those qualities over to play Casey Marie Jones, and there wouldn't really be too many problems with it in theory, and I feel as though that she would do a really good job.
My amazing new friends have suffered their first real defeat. That's bad enough, but they've also lost the opportunity to find out about their mentor, and I'm sure that hurts them much more than anything else.
Okay, next up is April, and at the beginning of this video, I know that I said that I didn't want to bring actors who already played the characters before, but I went with Judith Hogue. Now the reason why I went with this April is for a few reasons. The first one is the fact that the audience will be able to relate to her a lot more and at least have somewhat connection with her character due to playing the April in the 90s movie, and with that connection you'll definitely be able to have a lot more hard-hitting scenes in certain aspects of the comic. Now I do also think that due to the fact that how old Judith Hogue is, if they were to go live action, then you could definitely portray April in a really good way, just because she does look a lot different from the 90s movie. And that's actually quite a good thing, I would say, just because you can almost see that, like, yeah, this is an April, but at the same time, she's different enough to not be that version of April, and just be a really good thing.
My daughter's probably grown up without a father. My wife's probably moved on. But they deserve to know. And they can decide what to do with it.
Next up is The Last Ronin, and the person who I like to play him is Brendan Fraser. And oh boy, is he a perfect cast for this character. Now the reason why I want to go with him is for like quite a few different reasons. Now the thing is, when I was coming up with the role for The Last Ronin, it was honestly quite hard just because I was looking for a deep, mature voice, but at the same time you can definitely do like a lot of emotions with, like portraying the, like, everything is lost, you lost everyone, you're giving up on life, but at the same time you keep going, you want to keep doing things. And Brendan Fraser was able to do that. With his character as Robot Man on Doom Patrol, he was definitely able to portray that on more than one occasion, and I'll definitely have to say that that's probably one of his best performances he's ever done. And I'll say that if he was able to do that on Doom Patrol, where, you know, he lost his family, nothing too big or anything like that, but you can definitely bring that over to The Last Ronin, where, you know, he's lost basically everything, and he's on his last legs, and, you know, I feel as though it would just be a perfect choice for him. And I do also think that with his voice as well, he's like very deep voice in a way, and his emotions, I feel as though it would just be a perfect cast for him, and he'll be able to bring all the emotions that you need for any type of scene. And with some other movies that have recently come out that definitely been able to portray him as a really great actor for certain roles and certain scenes, he can more or less do anything that is required for him. Okay, but yeah, that's my list for who I like to see play these characters in The Last Ronin, either movie or TV show. I am quite interested to hear what you say about this in the comment section below. Do you agree with this list? Do you not? And also, like, if you don't agree with this one, let me know in the comment section below who you like to see play these type of characters. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. If you do like something, please share, like, subscribe and all that stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.